special was it to get the win tonight in front of all of these guys?
It was so incredible. This is my first time and you do well, so thank you.
The cost of the tickets was high. No one gave a damn. Before the gates even opened, fans were already waiting in line, and event officials were actually frantically trying to figure out what to do with thousands of people who were unable to enter. It wasn't a Grand Slam championship. It wasn't even a semi-final. The WTA is only now beginning to understand that this was a routine match with Alex Eala. Given the kind of audiences Alex is attracting, I would want to know whether you believe the WTA is doing enough to promote her. Or are they still totally unaware of the contributions woman makes to this sport? I would love to hear your opinions, so please leave them in the comments.
We teased it. The Alex Eala phenomenon continues here in the SoCal desert. Let's hear from some of those local fans who are gathering around the Filipino star.
She's humble and she works hard. Yes, that's why we like her, you know, because she's the face of the Philippines.
Just aside from her talent, she's also thinking of the future.
You know, I've only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines, and now I'm bringing a whole new audience to tennis all around the world.
So when Eala plays, we all get together and we all watch her support her as a group of people.
Are there actual like gatherings?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We plan our dinners around that stuff.
Really? You signed up for Tennis Channel to watch her?
Yeah, because sometimes they don't show it.
So the year subscription, just in case.
The monthly.
Oh, the monthly. Okay.
Monthly, just in case she doesn't play, then we don't.
Put everything in perspective, let's start with a single figure, $120 million individuals. That is the total population of the Philippines. And every time Alex Eala sets foot on a tennis court anywhere in the world, a loud, enthusiastic, well-traveled portion of that number shows up with flags, chants, and energy, transforming a typical third-round WTA match into something more akin to a national event than a professional tennis match.
How many fans have stayed out? How special was it to get the win tonight in front of all of these guys?
It was so incredible. This is my first time and you do well, so thank you. I never would have imagined this would be my debut match, with just surrounded by so much love, and I really needed to dig deep today. Diana played so well in a good most of the match, so I'm really happy with how I competed.
It felt like it meant so much to you to get the win tonight.
Yeah, matches like this where, like I said, you really have to dig deep, means so much to me, and it's my first time here. The tournament is amazing. I'm so grateful to be here, to be playing in front of all of you, so I'm really happy I get to play another match.
You didn't even get into this event. This year you are seeded. It has been a whirlwind 12 months for you. If last year I had a conversation with you and said this is where you would be 12 months from now, would you have believed me?
I would not have believed it. It's been a crazy journey ever since then, and it's only the beginning, so I'm so excited, and I continue to work hard, and hopefully many more matches like this.
Yeah!
Tickets for her Stadium 3 debut at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, California sold out. They did more than merely surpass expectations. They were sold out. Absolutely. At a competition that also includes Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and other prominent figures in women's tennis. Additionally, critics and organizers are also publicly stating that Eala is routinely generating larger audiences than those players this season. Not every now and then, regularly. It's not simply an interesting statistic, so take a moment to consider it. That's a remark that ought to make the whole tennis establishment sit down and have a very awkward discussion about how they've been handling the development of the sport. Because you are losing out on a shocking amount of money and awareness when a 20-year-old who is rated outside of the top 30 draws higher audiences appearances than the world number 1 and numerous Grand Slam winners, yet you continue to schedule her on secondary courts as if she were a regular fixture.
Thank you to all of you guys for coming out and supporting. It is now time.
Or the WTA is gradually awakening. Since the tales emerging from these competitions are almost unbelievable, the true concern is whether they're progressing quickly enough. 3 hours before to the start of her match, Indian Wells spectators had gathered outside the stadium. Not minutes, hours. Before the warm-up was even over, there were shouts and a sea of Philippine flags and Eala products in the bleachers. The mood was recorded by Tennis Channel cameras, the video went viral, and commenters were truly taken aback by the amount of support for a player who was just outside of the top 30. What about the practice sessions? The same tale. Large audiences are drawn to see Eala perform. In front of a few coaches and perhaps a few interested onlookers, she does workouts that most athletes perform as fans sing her name. It's obvious that the event organizers were unprepared for what her participation at this competition would really need. This isn't a one tournament tale, however. Earlier in the season, she had a heavy schedule of matches in Dubai. Her appearances in the Australian Open were limited to standing space. The Filipino diaspora, which is dispersed across the US, Europe, the Middle East, Australia, and other countries, has decided that attending Alex Eala is worth every penny, every flight, and every logistical challenge. They manage to be there wherever she plays. Let's now discuss ticket costs, since here is where the narrative really shines. These are not low-cost events. The cost is commensurate with Indian Wells' status as one of the world's largest tennis competitions. Nevertheless, a sizable number of fans are paying such costs in order to see Eala. Demand was unaffected by the high price. Tickets for her matches were sought long after the official allotment was depleted in some instances, creating a secondary market. Price sensitivity vanishes when a player establishes a connection with a fan base at this level, because missing it seems like missing something that really important. People figure out how to get there. Every match seems like a fresh chapter in the tale that the Filipino community has been following Eala's progress from junior championships to WTA breakthrough for years. Now, it is worthwhile to explicitly address the analogies being made in public. It is hardly a critique on Coco, Gauff, and Aryna Sabalenka's skill as tennis players when pundits claim that Eala is attracting more audiences this season. Gauff has won the Grand Slam. For many years, Sabalenka has been among the tour's most powerful players. They are both exceptional and worthy of everything that they have accomplished. However, audience size isn't just determined by championships or rankings. It is a result of connection, whether it is between a player and a community or between a tale and those who have a personal stake in its resolution. Few athletes have a relationship with any community anywhere in the globe, as Eala does with the Filipino community. There isn't a long history of Filipino players competing at the highest levels of the WTA. The Philippines has always lacked the resources, growth routes, and infrastructure that help top 30 tennis players in other countries. Therefore, Eala isn't only winning tennis matches when she rises to the 28th spot in the global rankings, defeats rated pros in 3-set matches, and performs well in major events. In front of the whole world, she is doing something that many really doubted was possible. The crowds are what they are because of this. Tickets sell out at full price because of this. In order to fill stadiums in California, Australia, and the United Arab Emirates, supporters fly across continents and arrive hours early. They are not only watching tennis, they are seeing the creation of history by a person who, like them, is from their community and is demonstrating what is really feasible. The analogies to Taylor Swift that have begun to surface in Eala's coverage, they are not as implausible as they seem. Swift has amassed a fan following that travels incredible distances, pays top dollar without hesitation, and creates an environment at concerts that is unmatched in the entertainment industry. Beyond the music itself, the Swifties became a cultural phenomenon. The same idea behind Eala's Filipino fan base. It's not just about the tennis, it's about being a part of something greater than sports. Additionally, the WTA is still finding out what the Alex Eala effect truly means for the business of women's tennis, much as the music industry needed some time to properly comprehend and capitalize on what Swift's following signified financially. It's important for tournament planners and broadcasters to remember that you can't create this kind of natural crowd excitement. You may schedule players on primetime courts, execute larger marketing campaigns, and construct nicer stadiums. However, a scenario where thousands of people come abroad, pay exorbitant rates, and fill a sold-out stadium to witness a game cannot be created from nothing. Only until a player has really done anything does it occur, something that resonates with individuals on a deeper level than rankings and statistics. That's what Eala did, and if the WTA didn't actively develop around it, they would be making a very expensive error. Perhaps the best illustration of where this is going is the Philippine Women's Open predicament. Before the organizers had a complete idea of what the event would look like, all of the tickets were sold out. In order to accommodate spectators who were unable to enter the stadium, the Philippine Sports Commission was publicly considering installing LED displays at a baseball field or overflow viewing spaces. The demand for tickets at a tennis event surpassed the capacity of the facility, necessitating the usage of overflow viewing spots. In the Philippines, such has never occurred before. One player is to blame for the current situation. It is very difficult to overestimate the significance of that for tennis in Southeast Asia. In the past, tennis has been a specialized sport in that area, available mostly to a small group of people with the means and infrastructure to pursue it. Eala is now altering the perspective of who can achieve in tennis and who it is for. It often takes decades to bring about that type of cultural change. It is taking place in real time. People are attempting to make sense of something that doesn't easily fit into pre-existing frameworks, as seen by the Reddit arguments, the dubious social media opinions, and the pundits speculating that this Southeast Asian tennis rise could be overhyped or too reliant on one player. Indeed, it is focused on a single athlete. Yes, whether or not this growth continues will depend on her continued success, but discounting the market signal because it centers on a single individual that lacks analytical rigor. Every significant growth in a sports audience throughout history began with a single player who made an impression and garnered attention. Michael Jordan and the rise in NBA viewership throughout the world, Yao Ming and the Chinese audience that the NBA worked hard to cultivate, Naomi Osaka and the rise in interest in tennis in Japan. Finding the player who resonates with a previously underserved market, building around them, and letting organic development take care of the rest is a well-established plan. For Southeast Asia, Eala is that player, for the Philippines in particular. And the WTA now has a decision over how aggressively to address it. Her run at Indian Wells in 2026 is providing just the right amount of evidence to support that choice. Stands that are sold out, record numbers of people, fans don't hesitate to pay the whole fee. The demand for